We chat to author and NLP life coach YVETTE RATSHIKHOPA about how we can get out of fear, overcome past hurts and feel safer. YVETTE, welcome to Afternoon Express.
Hi, Palisa. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, YVETTE, this conversation we started at the top of the show is something that is so important right now because we all see this taking place in South Africa and the world today, that women feel most vulnerable and live in fear. So then how can we change our mindsets around this and create the change we need?
Well, I suppose the thing is the fear is based on a reality, right? And many of the concerns that women have are real, but how we can change our mindset is just about understanding that we have a voice, that we matter, how we feel matters, our experience matters, and then using that voice to kind of take control of our lives, right? So that means that if something makes you uncomfortable, speak up. If you go into a space and you don't feel safe, call somebody. If you are in a work environment that doesn't make you feel safe, speak up. If you're in a relationship where you don't feel safe, speak to somebody that you think can help you. Reach out. The only way we can make ourselves feel safe in environments as volatile, especially for women in South Africa, is to use our voices and to speak our minds. That's how we can protect ourselves, of course. And of course, I think being cautious around the spaces that we occupy and just allowing ourselves to use our voices and to take charge.
Absolutely, YVETTE. I couldn't agree with you more there. But let's touch on your book. Living Consciously explains and teaches us to live our what if. Now, you know that a lot of women don't really push their purpose and achieve what they've always dreamt of because they're too scared of the unknown or have past traumatic experiences. So please may you just share a little bit about what each chapter offers.
So what I've done is that I've used my own journey, my own healing journey of somebody who's experienced abuse and certain experiences, and I've kind of drafted the healing journey starting from identity, right? And it moves on from identity. Do we define ourselves based on our work or the past experiences that we've had, right? Because you're not what you do, you are who you are, right? So what you do is not who you are, where you've been is not who you are, the experiences that you've had are not who you are, they don't define you. So I move from identity to things like the patterns that we've learned from relationship patterns to the patterns, generational patterns of parenting, generational patterns of trauma. And then I unpack it and move to rejection, and I move on to forgiveness. How do you forgive everything that you've been through? And then the last couple of chapters speak about mainly how do you now create the life that you want, right? So now that you know that you are enough. So I really unpack it in a way that breaks your past trauma experiences or people's experiences that they've had, right? Because everybody has a story that they've been telling themselves, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. They have imposter syndrome. Absolutely. So the book really unpacks why you have those experiences and how you can heal from those experiences and how to change your life moving forward.
How can we then be fearless and confident, and why is this so important?
As women, we've been taught to make ourselves so much smaller than what we are, right? So society teaches us, you know what, don't speak up. You know, you need somebody else's permission to live your life. You need somebody else's permission or approval to be yourself. You need somebody else's permission to do the things that you want to do. So whether that is from the way society thinks, cultural things, religious things, we need to look at ourselves and say, you know what am I choosing and what am I giving myself permission to do? Because nobody's going to come and give us those permissions. So we cultivate confidence by realizing that who we are is enough. The stories we have to tell are enough. The careers we want to go to are enough. The way we look is enough. And then we start to occupy the spaces that we need to occupy with that mindset of knowing that we're enough, knowing that what we create, whether in the creative industry, whether in the technological industry, is worthy of being seen and is also enough because it's coming from us.
Why should we not focus on worst case scenario?
It's important to not focus on the worst case scenario because the fact is your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. But if you focus on the worst case scenario, your mind thinks that, oh, this is what's going to happen. You start to feel negative and then you act out of fear. So you have to ask yourself, what if things didn't work out for me? What if, think of the best case scenario and focus that, because your mind is going to start believing that and then you're going to be able to create it. What if things worked out for you? What if you got that job? What if your business went well? Think of those things and focus on them.
What 3 main tips can you offer our viewers to live fearlessly? I know I live by affirmations, but why are they so important?
Affirmations are great because it's a way of affirming yourself of the things that you want to believe and change about yourself. And I always say sometimes it's not about ignoring the negative emotions, but acknowledging, okay, even though I feel sad, I fully and deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I may not have done this perfectly, I fully and deeply and completely accept myself. Say the things that you want to affirm into your body, into your mind, so that you can start living them, and affirm yourself with your actions too. If you say you are enough, what does that mean for you? That's the best type of affirmation.
I love that, Yvette. You have just nailed it. You've hit the nail on the head, as they like to say in Ngesi. Siswami, but I believe that was just one tip. Do you have two more that we can just keep and help our viewers to overcome fear?
Definitely. I'd say change the story. We all have some sort of story that we live with, right? And the stories sometimes look like, everybody has left me. Everybody doesn't love me. People are always going to reject me. I'm never going to be good enough. Change it to, I am good enough. Things work out for me. Things are going to look different for me. My life is mine to control. So look at the story that you've carried in your mind and start to change it and say, what am I choosing to believe about myself? Are these thoughts even mine? Are these thoughts coming from experiences that I've had? And start to question the things that come up. And I think I'm always a big fan of self-love. I think it's a way that we cultivate discipline, because you love yourself enough to go and go for the things that you want. You cultivate the healthy relationships because you love yourself enough to protect your peace. So choose yourself over and over again. Just like self-love with another person or love with another person is something that you have to be intentional about. You have to be intentional about loving yourself.
Beautifully said from the author and NLP life coach. Thank you so much, Yvette, for touching base here on Afternoon Express and sharing your wisdom with us. Goodbye.
Thank you for having me, Palisa. Bye.
We don't need to succumb to fear. We can do the work to overcome our fears and live more courageously. For more information on Yvette, please look at Afternoon Express's social media pages.